Hi, my name's Jeanette Thompson. I'm an independent consultant that's just completed a piece of work for Think Local Act Personal on panels.
And I'm Martin Walker from Doncaster Council, who have been working with Jeanette on that piece of work.
So what we're focusing on today is Doncaster's journey to actually move away from the use of panels in social care.
We in Doncaster, like many councils, have panels for deciding whether or not allocations of money are appropriate and thinking about risk in case circumstances. And we're very similar to many, as I say, many other councils. Panels meet because our scheme of delegation isn't working particularly well. We have many panels. We found that often that's because two carers are needed to meet care needs, and that is causing us some difficulties in terms of it's very costly and it's not ideal in terms of helping people get access to support quickly.
So whilst Doncaster have been going through this process, they've learned a number of things. Those things are not particular to Doncaster. I suspect everybody watching this will have learned very similar things from their experience. But what we now know is that running panels is extremely time consuming and very costly. And it's costly not just in terms of the number of people, but also the increasing number of panels and the increasing length of the panels. That it also delays payment to people, so whilst we're making the decisions and taking people through that process, people are out there actually trying to live their lives, sometimes without enough support. That people are not empowered to meet their needs in the least restrictive way because some of the panels are too busy focusing on budgets and how people can meet their needs in the most cost-effective way rather than the most effective way. And lastly, that staff aren't empowered through the use of panels as well.
So some of the things we're pleased about in terms of the way in which we've developed some new thinking around our approach to panels. It's really the thinking about the whole approach to assessment, thinking about eligibility, care planning, the allocation of resources and the sign-off of plans. Our thinking around panels fits in a whole new vision that we've got around that, which is very much aligned to what the Care Act is encouraging councils to do. Take a much more strengths-based approach, have a natural conversation with people and help people to lead and develop their own support plan with an appropriate allocation of money. So we are very pleased with the way in which we've developed a vision there, and we're very pleased in the way in which our leadership are supporting us to implement that new vision, and in fact taking us forward and driving us forward more quickly perhaps than we were anticipating changing. All this work does mean a lot of change for our workforce. The workshop that we ran, that came out very, very strongly. And I guess the nuts and bolts of what we're proposing is centred around the way in which we allocate resources and how a scheme of delegation works in that context. So we've come up with a very simple approach to thinking about allocating those resources. And we have a thing called a RAS grid, which our social workers and assessment officers will be using to propose a starter budget, and that worker will be empowered to agree a starter budget, and once a plan's developed, if the tolerance, if the final amount of support that's needed comes back within a particular range, the social worker will be empowered to be able to agree the final budget if there's a difference between the two, and if it's a little bit more than the social worker's empowered to sign off, then the team manager together with the social worker will also have a broad range of tolerance to be able to sign off a plan. So we're hoping that arrangement will reduce the number of panels. We've built into that approach a tolerance in terms of where we know cases need two carers, and so we've done lots of work to calibrate the tool that we've got, so that the indicative amount, the starter budget that we suggest to people, is as close to right as possible. We know we're not going to get it right every time, but we think that arrangement, a new scheme of delegation, which is helping practitioners at the front line empower people to get on and support plan, is going to reduce the number of panels.
So, as with all change processes, there's also things that organisations can be concerned about. And for Doncaster, thinking through the process and the journey that they're currently on, one of the things that's very important is to continue to secure the vision. It's a very good and exciting vision, and they need to make sure that it actually continues into the future. As part of that, they are now starting to take support services on the journey with them. The work so far has been predominantly with the assessment and care management teams, but now they're working with a number of the support services so that they can support the direction of travel as well. And part of that is the continued practitioner engagement. Equally important, and for them to focus on now, and as part of their concerns, is setting targets. They don't want to set targets that are going to create a target-driven environment, but ones that allow the senior management and leadership teams to know when they've achieved what they want to achieve. And lastly, it's about generating a trusting relationship between social workers and any external planners that are used in this city. And that's a key area for success for the future. In terms of the do next for Doncaster, they'll be working on all the things that they're concerned about. They'll be continuing to work with the wider transformation programme, but they will also particularly be focusing on the consolidation of the vision and their particular leadership team support being extremely overt, and identifying any metrics that they need for the future to determine when they've succeeded. I would say the nice bit from today was the sharing of learning from a range of different places in the workshop that we did.
Yeah, we did, yes.
Because it wasn't just about Doncaster's story. We had bits from East Riding, bits from Kirklees, and some bits from Wakefield as well, particularly.
Does anything spring to mind about best practice that you want to take forward?
I think Kirklees' practice was quite interesting. And there was a bit of a fit with what we were talking about, I think. So Kirklees' approach was very interesting, and I think we'll be reflecting on that, I guess.
I think the big thing that came out is what everybody already knows already, and that's about the fact that you don't do this without culture change.
Yeah.
That culture change is predominantly about different behaviours from all the people in the system, and not about processes as such, but that we do need to have those processes to support that change in culture and that different way of behaving for people.
Thank you very much.
That's 2 ends you've got out of me.
That's great, yeah, I'm good. Do you want to give me a third?
No. No, that's pushing it. I leave. Andrew comes in.
You were brilliant. Thank you both of you.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Just remind me
Thank
never
you,
to
Jeanette.
watch it.
Are those the world's biggest post-it notes?
Thank you very much.
No, they're my post-it
That's
notes.
great,
They're
isn't it?
fab.
Yeah.
It helped me. I sat in the room and did them so we could just put them on.
Before you take that, can I just get a photograph of it?
Yes, but
Yeah.
when you've done, take the post-its
Thank-
off and roll it up and take the
Thank
thing
you
with
very
it.
much.
The board's